I'm Big Bob.
And I'm Ann.
What's up? The name of the podcast is What's Up, Big Bob and Ann? But Ann's on vacation again, so it's just What's Up, Big Bob? Today we have a special guest, Tori what?
Don't say Toronto.
Not
I've been
Toronto.
called worse.
Toriano
Toriano.
Porter with the Kansas City Star. But as we usually do, a special shout out to Brenda Ringwood, who is our executive producer and the founder of Being the Best You Foundation, which we all should support. All right. What do you do for a living?
All right.
Mm-hmm. So do I. I wrote a book.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. At the end of the show, I'll give you my book and you give me your book.
Bet. Let's do that.
No, we don't have to bet.
All right.
It's a done deal.
All right.
Okay.
I've written 3, though. I also have audio books. So you have time? Do you have time?
No, I never have enough time. What are your books about?
Well, you know, Bob, my first book is called The Pride of Park Avenue. It's a
The Pride of Park Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Park Avenue, New York, or Park Avenue, St. Louis?
Park Avenue, St. Louis.
See, most
see what
people
I
don't
did?
know there's a Park Avenue
No,
in
in
St.
St.
Louis.
Louis.
And it's not the same type of ambiance as Park Avenue, New York,
Right.
New York.
It was a little bit more gritty. But
Okay.
you know what's funny? What I found
Let me
out.
know when I'm supposed to laugh.
Okay. What I found out since my first book has come out, and this was 2008, there is a Park Avenue
In every city.
Every city in the
It's
United
like
States.
Broadway,
Yes.
Central, Main Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
So my first book came out in 2008. When I was working on it, the working title was called The Pride of St. Louis. But then I was in New York City one time prior to this book coming out.
Right.
I was on 34th Street and Park Avenue in Times Square.
I've been there.
Okay, I was born in the 3400 block of Park Avenue in South St. Louis, right? So I had this moment. I was like, if my book was done and it was called The Pride of St. Louis, could I sell it on this corner right now?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
No one cares.
Who cares?
Pride of Park Avenue, boom.
Hey,
It's universal.
Well, that or they don't know what Park Avenue you're talking about.
Exactly. So it raises the curiosity.
All right.
All right. So it's a collection of short stories, poems, and personal essays about life growing up in a tough, rough environment.
Can you give me a short one?
Short what? Story?
Reading of one of your poetries.
They're not poems.
Not poems?
Oh, well, the poem I have is not short. They're
Okay.
a little long. But I can give you
Graphic?
I can give you a title of one.
Give me a title.
The title of one of the poems in my first book, The Pride of Park Avenue, was called No Love. And it's a story, it's a poem that I wrote about a college football teammate from his point of view. But we lost him during the season when I was a sophomore in college.
Where do you go to school?
I went to Central Missouri State in Warrensburg.
Warrensburg.
Yes.
Right.
I was a football player down there, but
I was a football player once too.
once you played fullback, you like
Yeah,
fullback.
No, did I say that out
You
loud?
said it out loud.
I was, matter of fact, my senior year in high school, I led the nation in pass completion percentage.
No way.
Yeah, I was 7 for 8
For
the whole season. We
there
ran
you
the
go.
ball.
There you go.
Oh man, went to Ithaca College and I was
New York?
a defensive back. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
and then I went and coached at Northwestern in Evanston,
Okay.
University of Pittsburgh in PA.
Hey, that's a good journalism school down there in Northwestern.
It's good for a lot of things. Wasn't very good at football when I was there, but yeah. Then I've
But the poem is called
Yeah.
No Love. It was about my teammate that died tragically. He was shot and killed during the season. And so, when I was about 20, 21 years old, I wrote a poem. It was called No Love. It was from his perspective. It was written from his perspective of what would have happened had he not been killed.
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. So for your audience,
that's the butterfly effect, right?
I guess I haven't watched that movie, so I don't
I haven't seen the movie either, but I'm familiar with the expression,
concept. Okay.
the butterfly effect.
So my second book is a novel. It's for middle school kids.
Right.
It's called James Cool. It's actually it's a shortened version of James Cool Papa Bell, who is a Negro League baseball great. But he's also in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right.
Well, when I was a young kid, my mom moved from South St. Louis on Park Avenue to North St. Louis to a street called James Cool Papa Bell. I was 9 at the time.
He was your hero.
No, I thought it was the silliest name a street could ever be called. In fact, I was 9. I didn't know who the guy was. So a couple of things happened. My mom, she got me a library card when I was 9.
Oh, which one?
A library card.
Okay.
So I was able to go to the library, and I started doing reading and research, and I found out who James Cool Papa Bell was.
Were you living in a rough neighborhood?
Yeah, absolutely.
And your mama got you a library card to get you off the streets.
Changed my life. Changed my life. May Porter's.
That's the way it's supposed to be fucking done.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to use that F word. That's the way it's supposed to freaking been done.
Changed my life.
Parents are supposed to protect their children so they have a chance of mainstreaming and getting ahead.
Absolutely. Best thing she ever did. And so at that point, I learned who he was. And so at about the age of 11, 12, me and my buddy, we walked up the street where he lived, and we knocked on the door, and I actually met James Cool Papa Bell. Now, he was older. He was on his kind of last years.
Was he the guy who's supposed to be able to steal a
He was so fast, he'd get in bed before you turn off the lights.
Right.
So Statue Page told this story.
Right.
As I was doing my research with the book, what I found out was there was a short in the light switch. But the fable, it grew on me, right? So that's how it started.
All legends that must have a star like that. It's unbelievable.
So that's a novel. I call it a cute little love story between a girl and a boy and their first crush, but it's set in the summer of 1985.
Right.
And there's a mention of the Kansas City Royals in there because we know what happened in 85. So I fell in love with baseball and a girl in 85. So as a first person,
how long have you been in Kansas City?
Since 2007.
But you're not a Royals fan.
I'm not a Royals fan.
Even in 14, 15?
But I did go to the parade.
Even
in 15.
14, 15, were you a Royals fan?
No, not at all.
You know what I loved about 14, 15 was we have 9 innings to score. You get 6 innings to score. Let's play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had those 3 guys in the pen with the 0, 0, 0,
Yeah,
0, 0.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get 6 innings to score. We get 9 innings to score. Let's play baseball.
You know, I tell you what, being here in 2014 and 15, just because I'm not emotionally invested, just to be able to be a part of it, it was one riding by I-70 at night doing those 2 seasons was magical.
Right. Really was.
So 14, they ran into Baumgartner. That was crazy.
By the way,
I've never seen anything like
14, they set a major league record that will never, ever be broken.
Tell me about it. I'm going to have to do my research so I can confirm it.
10-4 and didn't win in the playoffs and did not win the World Series.
That's never happened before.
Can never happen.
So they won their first 10 games?
They won.
They swept everybody.
They won the play-in game.
Oh, yes.
3-0, 3-0, 3-4. So they won 10 games and lost and did not win the World Series, right? Cannot be done.
Huh.
Can't be done.
That's amazing. I haven't thought about that.
10-4.
So was it 4 losses or 5?
4.
Wow. That's amazing. Because Baumgartner wiped them out.
I don't know. I hate that.
I've never seen anything like it.
No.
So anyway, so I respect the Royals and the Chiefs. So James Cool, that's about that. My third book is an ebook that I turned into an audio book. It's called the 5 People You Meet in the Hood Before You Get to Heaven. 5 personal essays about the 5 people closest to me that I lost over an 18, 19 month span.
So you grew up in a rough neighborhood.
I would say that. So yes.
Okay. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely.
All right. I worked in Harlem.
Oh, wow.
I drove through rough neighborhoods. I played with a lot of guys, sports that came from rough neighborhoods. I can't relate. And it's not because I'm white or because I'm Jewish. I just can't relate because I never firsthand experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever went hungry, except maybe in my early 20s. But that's another story.
Yeah.
But did you realize you had it that rough?
Wow. You know,
Did you realize? I mean, did you think, "Oh my God, I'm being suppressed. I'm being.
No.
I don't have
No.
any joy in my life.
No.
There's no.
No.
That I got to be
Never.
careful how I walk down the street."
That part, yes. You have to
But-
navigate. Yes.
Yeah, but that's part of life. No big deal.
No.
When I was in New York City, had to make sure my everything was in my front pockets, nothing in my back pockets, because right,
Yeah.
you just aware of your surroundings more.
I was blessed to grow up on Park Avenue in a community, right? Even though it was rough, there were homeowners, small business owners, family. That's my neighborhood. That's my community.
By the way, if I had the magic wand, I would tear down almost all the cities,
And do what?
build new cities. In the center of the city is industry,
Mhm.
surrounded by homeowners, surrounded by schools,
Mm.
surrounded by shopping.
Mm.
And if a man has a job and a man has a home, he is not going to let anything happen in his community
Right.
that is not safe for everybody.
Exactly.
And I think that is one of the problems. It's partly education, but a man, maybe a woman too, have to feel secure in their neighborhood, productive, have something worth fighting for,
Mhm.
something worth holding on to, ownership of a home,
Yep.
ownership of a job,
Yep.
ownership of a small business,
Yep.
to protect it. Otherwise, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And I think
That's a
the inner
dangerous
city,
person. Mhm.
the inner city problem is too many people have nothing to lose.
I want that word inner city, urban core.
Urban
Yeah,
core.
let's go urban core.
Look, semantics.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
saying the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I'll say it whatever way you want me
Yeah,
to.
no doubt. Just that inner city. When you say inner city, it just has some negative connotations to it. You know what I mean?
There's some beautiful things that happen in the urban core.
Absolutely. I'm one of those beautiful things that was produced from.
No, I'm talking about culture. I'm talking about
Absolutely.
music. I'm
Absolutely.
talking about
So
art.
that's my point. So I grew up. We had all of that, but in the late '80s, 1990s, that's this thing that was introduced to the neighborhood called crack cocaine and gangs. Changed everything. We had influence of LA and their gang banging.
I'm going to say something you probably going to slap my hand because you're not going to like it. When Trump says "Make America Great Again," he's talking about before there were gangs in the urban, before there was crack cocaine, when the drug of choice
Exactly.
was marijuana.
I know exactly what you mean.
Right? There were no guns on the street. There was no violence anywhere because people respected they might be a little separate, but they respected everybody. Yeah, Jim Crow was ugly. The shit going on in the South was ugly, but it was a much more respectful, easy community to navigate through than it is today. Today, it is very scary, no matter where you go.
I walk, man. I have no fear.
Neither do I. When my time comes, my time comes.
Exactly.
I mean, I've had twice somebody's put a gun in my face,
Wow.
and twice I said, "Fuck you!
Wow.
You're going to kill me. You
Wow.
go to jail,
Wow.
but you're not going to get what you want."
Wow. Man, I've had that experience happen to me 3 times. Someone put a gun in my face.
Right.
Fortunately or unfortunately for me, those 3 times they were police officers.
What would you say? That is the
So fortunately or unfortunately, right?
no.
I was able to walk away.
That is another. I mean, I've only had one unpleasant experience with police.
Mhm.
You have probably had half a dozen, and stories of hundreds of unpleasant experience with police.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had my issues personally. Like I said, I've had guns put in my face, but I was in my 20s, and something a close friend once said to me, which made me take ownership of these situations.
Right.
What were you doing to cause the police to put the gun in your face? So
Hey,
you have to take ownership of it. You know what I mean?
2 hands on the wheel.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
they want to go home safe too.
Exactly. So, but man, just as a Black male in America, I've had
You're black.
I am.
Okay.
I've had my share of issues, but it's nothing to where I paint a broad brush, right? I don't have any. I'm not anti-police. I'm not anti.
You're not
anything.
defund the police.
No, heck no.
That's got to be what the
That's-
stupidest campaign.
I wouldn't say stupidest because that's a tough word, but that was just bad politics, bad policy. I don't know why that even became point. Now I understand what.
How about re-educate the police? How about remotivate? How about retrain? How about doing a hell of a lot better job of recruiting?
That's where I was going with it.
Let's not recruit the bozos who are going to be terrible policemen.
That's where I was going with it. So the purpose and the point, I believe, that the Fund the Police movement was to reallocate some of those funds you're spending on police for social services. But it didn't come out like that. It came out like defund the police. That's bad. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. You have to have a functional police department in any city in America.
All right. What are some of the more controversial things you write about?
Man, let me check my email real quick. When you hold my job as an opinion writer for the Kansas City Star's editorial board is to hold the public accountable.
Hold the public
officials. The
public,
powerful,
okay.
Powerful, the powerful.
The influential.
The
people who are guiding our community.
Exactly.
Okay.
And my job is to be a steward of taxpayers' dollars, make sure they are going where they're supposed to go.
I love the job description.
And I also call out BS. Whether it's
both sides?
Oh, yeah.
Both sides?
Oh, yeah.
Both sides?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I call out BS. Like, I don't care if you're the mayor of Kansas City,
right.
If you're the governor of Missouri,
right.
I don't care if you're a superintendent of Kansas City Public Schools or a superintendent of Lathrop Schools.
Right.
Your job as a public figure,
somebody has to hold them accountable.
You got to hold accountable. And I do that, and with the backing of my team on the editorial board, we do that at a high level. So there's a lot of things that I write about as controversial.
Give me an example.
I'll give you an example of something that I wrote that almost got me ran out of town.
Ran out of town?
Oh boy,
really?
They were these, and Twitter. They're loud on Twitter. It's called X now, but whatever. A couple of years ago, I wrote a column about Big Slick, right?
Big Slick.
Yes, a big celebrity poker tournament, softball game. Paul Judd.
Oh yeah,
all those
Big
guys.
Slick. Okay, I got it. Right.
Ted Lasso, all those guys. They come back.
Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso. They all come back. They throw this big fundraiser,
right?
So one year they put out this list of celebrities that they were going to have. So I go through this list of like 32 celebrities. The only African Americans that was on there was Patrick Mahomes, which is a shoe-in, and I believe it was Kurt Menefee, who's he's on one of those NFL shows.
Right.
Kurt McAfee, I think is his name. Yeah, McAfee. One of those guys from CBS or something. And one more person. So I wrote a column that said Big Slick is awfully white. And the reason I wrote it is because, like, where's Don Cheadle? Where's Janelle Monáe?
I have no idea who
these people are. These are African Americans that are from the Kansas City metro area.
Are they athletes?
They're celebrities.
Okay. All right.
Like, what's my draw?
Wait a second.
I don't watch Ant-Man.
Are they Kansas City Chiefs fans? Are they
They're
Royals
from
fans?
They're
I
from
understand
here.
that. But if they're not,
no idea.
I mean, the Big Slick we're all about the sports here in town.
It's about raising money for a good organization.
All right.
And so that's what people was on my head about. Who criticizes an event?
You know what?
That raises money.
You know what?
So that's what stands out in my mind, right?
Do you ever write about reverse discrimination?
What is that?
How come the basketball team doesn't have enough white guys on it?
No, I don't write about stuff.
I mean, if we wrote about the tennis team not having any black players, do we write about the basketball team not having white players?
Okay, so with that question, right? You just think about the history of this country. Let's think about who has been denied opportunities. Now, listen to me. You got to hear me out. There has been. You mentioned Jim Crow earlier, right? There has been law. There's still laws on these books right now.
I got you.
Right.
But there's a law in Kansas City saying that you can't have sex with your wife unless it's in the what was the standard position in sex? The missionary position.
Show me that ordinance.
Right.
Show me that ordinance.
Somebody told me that.
Now, I don't care. Show what it is not what you know.
No, we're not in Missouri. We're in Kansas.
We're in Kansas. All right.
Show me.
I'm gonna go back across
show me state.
I'm gonna go back across that
show me state
line.
Right, Missouri's.
But if you show me that ordinance,
right,
and it's still in the books, my job is to highlight that and call it out.
Okay. I believe.
But my point is this:
I believe there's been too much discrimination. I really do.
Right. But here's the thing, man. Like when you say stuff like, "There's not enough white guys on basketball teams," like I know you were joking, but some people might not think that. So you know.
See, I think the best 11 guys should be on the team. I don't care if they're.
Absolutely.
I don't care who they are.
Right? When you have systemic issues, see, and this is where I go when y'all start.
You can have this in business. You cannot have. I don't think you're going to have in today's age too much racism in sports because it's all about winning. And I don't care if you're purple and green. If you're going to help my team win, you get the big contract.
I would like to believe that at the pro level, but when at the college and high school and youth sports level, it's still some real politics and discrimination going on. Real.
All right. See, I've always used the word prejudiced is defined by ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
If you're prejudiced, you're ignorant by definition because you prejudge something you're not familiar with.
Absolutely.
So by definition, prejudice is ignorance. And how do you offset ignorance?
Education.
Right.
And that's part of my job too, to
All
educate
right.
folks.
Educate.
So again, I don't, as an opinion writer, I have to base my opinion on research and reported facts. I can't pull stuff out of my, whatever. I can't pull things out of thin air.
Out of your ear.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And so that's empowering. So I do the work of a traditional journalist, but I add commentary to it.
If you weren't a journalist, what would you have done with your life?
At one point, I wanted to be an English teacher and a football coach in high school.
I wanted to be a history teacher and a football coach.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
What I learned is I didn't have the patience to teach or coach.
Well, I have the patience to coach, but grown-ups, I cannot coach kids.
Right.
So I've spent a lot of time coaching. I was involved with the arena football team. I've done semi-pro football a bunch of years.
Okay. Which organization in Kansas City did you mess with as far as the semi-pro circuit?
Let's see. I did the Plainsmen before you're here. I did the Chaos.
I know about Kansas Chaos. I know about the KC Jazz. I know about the Midwest Titans.
Yeah, I did
I know about those guys. Panthers was here.
Panthers. What is my buddy's team? I basically coached a little bit with that. Yeah, I've done about 5-6 years.
But at the Sugar Creek Shockers. Did you remember those guys? They were Midwest Titans. It was Sugar Creek Shockers. They used to be Kansas City Shockers.
Bulldogs.
I actually Kansas City Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I actually played for the St. Louis Bulldogs. That's how I know these teams. I played 9 years of semi-pro football.
Well, I coached 6 years of semi-pro football.
See, we didn't even know that.
Right.
It's a conversation. It's amazing what happens when you sit down and have a conversation.
Shared information.
I'll tell you this. I played one game. I played football from the time I was 14 until I was 33. I played one
Wide receiver?
Free safety. I liked the hit. I didn't like getting hit.
Right.
I didn't like it at all. I played one game of professional football in an indoor football league, Tier 2. Got a $200 check.
I did.
I almost framed it, but I needed the money.
I was the assistant general manager for the arena.
Desperados? No, that's Dallas.
No. We did the Phantoms.
Gotcha.
We played out at the I Center. Did that for a couple of years. Silverstein, right?
Yeah, it's something else now. It's Cable Dahmer now.
Right.
It used to be the Independence Event Center. I got it. Right. I got you.
Did that for a couple of years.
Okay.
I was a part owner of the ABA Knights when they were here.
I remember that they won the championship.
I got a championship.
Pritchard was the coach.
He was one of them.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
he's a GM now.
Yeah, of course he is.
Did we lose the?
Did we lose the feed?
Did we lose the feed?
We lose the feed.
Shouldn't have.
I don't know.
No, it's on.
Oh,
I just have to. Something else
okay.
came
So
up.
you're going to edit out all that crap, right?
It's still showing.
Yeah.
It's still going. That
Okay.
popped up, but it's still
So-
going. But yeah,
so-
we'll edit out.
ABA Knights.
ABA
I'm
Knights.
watching it
I'm
here.
the only guy you'll ever meet in your entire lifetime
Wow.
was a championship ring in 2 different sports. National championship ring in 2 different sports.
Okay, the Knights and who else?
University of Pittsburgh Panthers back in
With
'76.
Marino? No, Marino wasn't there.
No,
He was
Tony
81.
Dorsett.
Dorsett?
Yeah.
What were you, a GA on that team or something?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow. You know, I used to wear Converse back in the day because of Tony D. The cleats.
Yeah.
Remember those cleats?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Where are your rings, man? You got
Both of them is stolen. Does it matter?
Yes.
I mean, no.
to me. Okay.
Things are
Listen,
things.
Okay.
Things are things.
Okay. So I played football.
Right.
From the time I was 19 to 33. One of the reasons I played, I was chasing a ring and I never got one. So that's why I say yes, it matters. I've never won a championship, Bob. Ever.
You're a champion.
I know, but I still wanted the silverware, sir.
You know what?
I wanted the hardware. Why else do you play the game? To win.
Yeah, I know I won.
Yeah.
I know I
I
won.
feel you.
I got trophies here.
I feel you.
I know I won.
I hear you.
I climbed to the top of my
I hear you.
mountains.
I would be destroyed though, personally. Just,
You know, when we're done with this interview, I'm going to show you some stuff that you're going to say, no, really?
Bet.
I mean, but this is more about you.
It's
So
okay.
let's
Yeah.
get back
All
to
right,
you.
all right.
You live in town.
I live in Independence, Missouri.
Are you married?
I'm single. Been single my whole 49 years of life.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No. No, that's a good one. No. I'm a bachelor at this point. So if your viewers are watching, if they're between the ages of 35 to 49, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Oh, wait a second. You're blushing. You're blushing.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
No,
you
I'm
are.
not. No,
Yes,
no.
you are. I can tell
No,
you're blushing.
What else?
So, what do you do for recreation? You work out,
Oh man, I ride my bicycle.
right?
I don't ride in the wintertime, so I put it up until about March or April.
You don't got something in the house you can ride?
No, I just kind of do calisthenics in the house. I'm starting to do
Boxing?
yoga. No, yoga stretches, push-ups, stuff like
Right,
that,
right.
old school stuff. Also, during the week and the weekends, I referee youth basketball. Yeah.
Right,
So
up
I
and
run up
down.
and down the court.
Right.
So I'm burning that, and I watch what I eat. So yeah, that's my recreation, man. I like to get out and ride.
I heard you had a son passed.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes,
Do you have any other children?
yes. I have 3 surviving boys and 3 surviving girls. I stay busy.
Wait a second.
Yes,
Wait a second.
yes.
How many different mothers?
4.
Oh, you motherfucker. So,
I have 3. I have 3 with one lady, and I have 3 with 3 different women. And those are long stories that I'll write in the book one day.
yeah.
The working title is How I Met Your Mother. They're gonna be no, I'm dead serious. They're gonna be personal
And
essays
there's
to my
4
children.
chapters.
There are more chapters before, but there's 4 main,
How I Met Your
Yeah.
Mother, 4
Yeah,
chapters.
yeah. So everybody gets a different story.
Right, of course.
How I Met Your Mother. From my point of view, though.
The reason I can't run for public office is because I don't want to know.
You don't want people to know?
No, I don't want somebody to say, "How did you meet my mother?" Right?
Right, know that.
Because I'm not sure. All right, so you're staying active.
Mhm.
Are you political?
No, not at all. People like to call me because of my job and my opinions. They like to call me a liberal, but I'm not.
I would think that if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart. And if you don't get a little bit more conservative as you get older, you have no brains.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I understand.
Right. I'm just me, man.
But
You know?
you're too educated to not.
Okay.
Right.
It's like, why do I have to choose anything? Why can't I just,
First of all, we're not going to talk about Trump and Biden.
no, not at all.
Right. But our society needs more accountability,
I would say so.
right?
say so.
I mean, almost every aspect of it. If you say something, you do something, who's holding them accountable
Exactly.
for what's being done?
Exactly. And that's why I am a big proponent of journalism. Because we are the fourth.
But the Star,
What about
is it still in business?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got to get your papers being published in
Des Moines?
in Des Moines,
Yes.
right?
Well-
I subscribed for 40 years.
Okay.
Until my prices kept going up and up, and the paper getting thinner and
Mhm.
thinner.
Mhm.
They took my favorite comics out, my puzzles out.
Man, that's tough. And so what I would tell people is in situations like that, by a long-term reader and subscriber, we have made the transformation to digital. We are digital first, and we're going to be a online company within 5 years or less.
And the Star building, they're talking about tearing it down and putting the stadium there.
Jeez. A lot of history there, right? Man, I've had the opportunity to work at 1729 Grand, the old brick
The old
building.
building.
Our boy was there.
Right.
Hemingway was there.
Right.
And Walt Disney, I believe, walked those halls.
Wow.
I'm in that building, man. That's history. Then we
Right.
move across the street to that glass building. I loved it over there. State of the art. They built a
Beautiful.
newsroom. Oh my God, it was like the best. And now we're down. We have an office in Crown Center.
So who owns the Star?
McClatchy. The
And how
same
many-
people that own the Pittsburgh Pirates, by the way.
Really? How many do they own? A shitload of papers?
32, I believe.
And do any of your editorials get published in other papers.
I've been in the Miami Herald, I believe, and maybe another paper. I want to say, I think it was the one in South Carolina.
Do you interview people before you write your articles?
Absolutely. I can't write if I don't interview.
Well, I don't know. You said you read. Who are some of the people you've interviewed that left a positive impression upon you?
That's great. I will tell you the two stories that stick out to me positively.
Right.
I started my career in 2001. So what was that? 22 years ago.
Long time ago.
Man, it rides. I was 25, 26 years old. My first writing job, I actually got fired from. Long story.
Wait. Because you misspelled too many words?
No. Insubordination. Listen,
Surprise.
Listen, I'm 25, 26.
You're too smart. You know everything.
It was exactly. I
Right.
knew everything, right?
Right, you
And
knew
so
everything.
my editor assigns me a Saturday morning kayaking. deal. Kayaking, canoes, right?
Oh, I
I'm a
understand.
city boy.
I
I ain't in a hurry to get to the water. For one,
You're an urban boy.
there you go. I'm from the urban core, right? I'm a city slicker, right?
Right.
And so, and I'm young.
Right.
This Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Right. Well, I went out Friday night, and I stayed out to the wee hours of the morning until the sun comes up.
How many mothers did you meet that night?
None.
With some potentials.
But I was hanging out with a young lady the whole night. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
The whole night. We partied.
Wait. Can I have a picture of this, please?
I wish I had one. But we hanging out the whole night.
Right.
We're partying 6 or 7 in the morning, right? So I lay down for a few hours. I wake up, it's noon.
Bragging. He's just
I
bragging.
was 25.
Right.
26. But it was noon.
Right.
I missed the whole deal, right? That's on a Saturday.
Right.
So that Sunday, I was like, wait, I got to turn in something on Monday. We were a weekly paper. I had to turn in something on Monday. Come to find out, the rapper Nelly was having a celebrity basketball game at Washington University there. It was all these NBA people, all these rappers, right? So I used my press pass to get in, and I actually went in the green room. I interviewed the kid. I'm like, okay, I'll turn this in on Monday. On Tuesday, I was fired. But, it built up to that. But anyway, my first day on the job, my very first byline, I have this at home framed. George W. Bush came to a school in St. Louis. I covered that. I covered a sitting president.
Were you a sophomore in high school?
No, it was my first job. George W. George W.
Right.
The younger one.
Right.
It was 2001. It was months before 9/11. Okay. And
I always called him the wannabe.
People talk bad about George W.
No. Let me tell you what my thing on George W.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to be like Ronald Reagan.
Mm.
What made Ronald Reagan successful was he had hired and surrounded himself with the absolute best people, and they gave him good advice. George W. tried to hire and surround himself with the best people, and they gave him terrible advice. But it was his style. His style of leadership was very similar to Reagan's style. He just didn't have the right people.
So that was my first.
My opinion.
No, it's okay. It's my first ever byline. So
Right.
that, and then I was a college student in Warrensburg. I got there in '92. I was on full scholarship. I lost that scholarship because I didn't go to
Big man on
class.
campus.
I thought I was. I didn't go to class, so I lost the
How
scholarship.
big are you?
I'm 6'2". Back then, I was 170. I'm like
6'2",
185
playing
now.
free safety.
Yeah. I had the heart of a champion. Don't let it fool you. I was a
But
skinny kid.
you built more like a wide receiver.
We talked about this. I did not like getting hit.
Right.
And I could track the ball because I played baseball
You
too.
probably lousy hands because
No. We're not going there.
Those who can't catch play defense.
Sir, we're not going there. I had great hands. When I left,
No, we're talking football.
When I left Eureka High School, I had 7 interceptions. I was on the career list for the most interception in the season.
Right.
But I did not like getting hit.
Right.
So
Did you like hitting?
Yes.
And that was when you could lead with your head.
You see how I was going with this, right? Yes. I'm still feeling this, right? I played so many semi-pro games with concussions. It's unbelievable. And I never missed a game. I never set out the game, and I never missed a practice. I never missed a game. Like, I wish I knew what we know now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people think
How
it's
many
just
fingers do I have up?
But I'm serious, man. Like, I remember banging my head and getting knocked out and playing in the same game.
Right.
It's crazy. And I thought it was a badge of honor.
Me too. Look, my senior year in high school, my freshman year in college, no water during practice. Right? I mean,
That's when coaches could grab you by the face mask. They
Yeah.
could kick you in your butt. They could
No,
curse
no.
you out.
I had one coach who would line us up
And soccer
and
guys.
do leg lifts, boom, 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 and jump from one stomach to another stomach
That's crazy.
in high school.
That's nuts.
Right.
That's
So you tense up your stomach.
Think about this. There were 2 a
No
days.
water.
There was 2 a days.
Wait,
3
at Pitt,
days.
When I was at Pitt, there was
3
4 days.
They had 4 days.
4
I know
days.
you had special teams.
No. We started before breakfast.
Right.
We did
Conditioning, gotcha.
practice, lunch, practice,
Then special
evening.
teams.
Evening. It was no.
No.
Still outside
Oh,
doing
Jesus.
walkthroughs
Gotcha.
for what they're going to do the next day
Oh,
or
my
reviews.
God.
And it was 5:30 in the morning
All the way till.
till about 8 o'clock
Yes.
at night,
Yes.
and afterwards
Yes.
the coaching staff went out and partied till 2 in the morning.
No kidding.
Yeah, we were party animals.
Oh, wow. It still
I mean,
got up and got it.
oh,
done.
damn.
That's crazy.
It was the wildest
And
2 weeks.
There was no heat advisory, sir. We no heat advisory.
Oh, I
You
know
the
what you're
kids don't-
saying.
They
You
don't.
mean when it's 102?
Yeah, they don't practice these days.
Right.
We practice in that.
How about snow days? These kids are getting snow days for 3 inches of snow.
We would go to school and snowball fights. We
Right.
had all that, man. So anyway, we're going back. Where were we going with this? We're just shooting the crap. Where were we
Right,
going with
right,
this?
right. You're telling me how great your job is.
Oh yes, I was. But man, I'm blessed. So and the second one that sticks out, the second story that sticks out. Okay, I was in Warrensburg. I flunked out, went back. Eventually, I got my stuff together, right? But the same school that I flunked out, and I went back and got my stuff together. I was able to play ball and walk across the stage. Well, in 2014, I was covering education and business for the Lee Summit Journal newspaper.
Oh, education
And
and
business,
business.
yes.
How education and business
No, I
interact?
had two separate
two
beats.
separate.
Yeah,
Okay.
school boards and all that, and then the business beat.
Right.
Chamber of Commerce functions. I went to all the
Oh,
fancy
shit.
swanky lunches and all
Yeah.
that. It was all good. It was all good.
I've
But-
spoken at most of those get-togethers.
I bet. Are you a Rotary member?
No.
Okay. And so Barack Obama came in 2015, I believe, 2014, 15, to tout the program that UCM had started with MCC. Basically, it was to make your college 2 years instead of 4. So it was to make college more affordable. So you could take high school classes through University of Central Missouri, MCC, and as a high school student, and when you transferred, you only had 2 years left. So he came to tout that. And
They've always had that accelerated college courses
Yeah.
when you're in high school.
yeah, but it's,
If you're top tier,
right. But the way it's set up with UCM, it's like the kids are in high school, they take these classes, they transfer to MCC, then they transfer to UC, but they can do it in 2 years instead of 4.
Right.
Anyway, he came to tout that, and I went back down to cover that story. So not only did I write about it, I took the photo too, because at that point we were a one-man shop.
Right.
And so I have those two. Those are the two that stand out the most. Those are the ones that I say will leave the most positive impression on me.
do you have photos with these guys?
No.
These guys?
No, I don't have photos.
Nothing.
I'm not a
You're photogenic.
yeah, but I'm not what you would call like I met my idol once, Ozzie Smith.
Really?
Yes.
Tight end for Cleveland.
No, Ozzie Smith. The shortstop from the Cardinals. You think Ozzie Newsome.
I'm thinking Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, no, Ozzie Smith.
The shortstop. The shortstop.
The greatest of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. Flips. Right.
My idol growing up. Met him.
Yeah.
Never asked for an autograph. Never asked for a photo.
Different generation. I saw Kurt Flood steal home.
No kidding. Wow. You know, he's an agent of change.
He changed.
He changed
He
the
probably
game.
changed the game more than
Anybody. And he sacrificed.
He sacrificed himself.
People don't talk about Kurt
Right.
Flood. I didn't know much about him because I'm young.
Yeah.
But
Cool Papa has nothing on what this guy did.
Exactly. Now, Cool Papa came up and
He played.
He didn't get a chance to play. He never did. Yeah,
right.
but
He was too
Kurt Flood, man, he sacrificed.
Right.
He really did. And so everybody that signs their free agent deal
should be sending him a check.
should be sending him a check
Right.
or his family or whoever.
Right.
So yeah, you and I, we know. You know.
I mean, there's a couple of people who changed the game. Chamberlain changed the game.
Wilt still.
Do you know? I mean, there's so many records that Wilt still has. Everybody talks about the 100 points, right? I
Or the women.
or the women. I like the 50 points a night every night for the season.
Wow. He averaged
Average
50.
50.
At KU
No,
or in the pros?
pros.
He averaged 50.
1 year.
Jesus Christ.
He had 50 rebounds in one game.
That's crazy.
So after this big season, everybody said, yeah, that's all you can do is rebound and shoot. So the next year he went out and led the league in assists.
Are you kidding me?
No, but I think his greatest accomplishment is he never found out of a game in the NBA.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow.
See, everybody writes about Shaq this guy, that. Man,
Well, still would have gave him the business. He was so graceful.
there's a story that Lou Alcindor, in his rookie year, went up to block Chamberlain's dunk.
Mhm.
And Chamberlain went up over the rim,
Uh,
and it was like 2 feet over the rim, and he just dropped the ball. And as they're running down, it goes, bitch, you ever try to block my shot again, you're going to lose your arm at your elbow.
no way. He told Kareem that. Oh wow.
I mean, he was 310.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
He was 7'2",
Yeah,
310. I mean, he was a big,
yeah.
7'4". I mean, he was a big man. I mean, he was just one of the greatest athletes ever to be an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I mean, I think he could have played any time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
Hmm.
Where were we at?
We were just talking. You asked me about as a journalist, who's
Right.
left a positive influence on me, whatever.
What are some of the negatives?
Okay.
I mean, what stories have you been forced to
Yes.
cover
Yes.
that have had a profound effect
Yes.
on you, saying, this
Yes.
is not right?
Yes.
I've
Yes.
seen evil. I've
Yes.
seen injustice. And what can I do to change it?
Wow, that's amazing. Well, there's a couple that stand out. Again, in 2007, I moved here. I worked for the Independent Examiner newspaper. Right around that time, there was a case involving a man by the name of Daniel Porter. His wife's name was Tina Porter. They had 2 children, Sam and Lindsay. They were 8 and 9 years old. This couple divorced. The dad kidnapped the kids, parental kidnapped the kids. They came for a visit. He never took them back home. He murdered them, hid the bodies from the wife and everybody else, tormented her for a year. And right when I got here, he finally confessed. And when they found the kids' remains, I had to cover the funeral. That was tough. Like, I have an ability.
I have a tough time hearing the story.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand man has an evil twitch in him.
Yeah. That was
Not all men are beautiful.
Yeah.
Not all of God's children are righteous.
Right.
But there's evil twitch inside some of us.
Yeah.
I've just not had to come in personal contact with it often.
That was tough.
That's evil.
That was tough. And I actually saw him on his perp walk when he was leaving the courtroom going to the police car. And that's you killed your own seed. That was a tough one. So I had to cover the funeral. That stands out. And just recently this past summer, I attended the funeral of a young guy. His name is Skylar. Skylar disappeared about a year or so ago, and no one wrote about it. His mom actually reached out to me, and she was kind of upset that the police didn't put out a missing person report.
Right.
So, I called the police department. I got some information. They were sending me back to Blue Springs where he was last seen, but Blue Springs sent me back to Kansas City because he had a Kansas City address. And I was asking the police department, what's the protocol? What's the policy? What's the procedure when someone's missing? How do you determine if you're going to put out a public notice or not? Well, some of the things they said, the kid met the criteria.
Right.
But mom felt like because he had a record and he had been in trouble with the law that they didn't care. So they never put out the missing person report. Well, I wrote about it.
How old was he?
22. Skylar was 20, 21 years old. Man, he was young in his 20, like 21, 22. I put out the story. Year later, they found his remains. Some mushroom hunters found his remains. This was a couple of months ago. She invited me to the funeral. That was tough. So those are the negatives of what I do. And one more that stands out in my mind. I was in Independence back in 08, 09. I was working at the Examiner out there. And a guy drove himself into the Missouri River. He took his own life by driving into the river. And I was on the scene when they pulled the car out of the river. And I could see his lifeless body in the driver's seat. That was tough, man. That was tough.
I used to say, and I might stop saying this, that going to a lot of funerals is a good thing.
Mm.
It means you've lived a long life.
Mm.
and you've loved a lot of people.
Mhm.
If you don't go to many funerals, it's because you died too young
Mhm.
or didn't have any friends and family,
right.
right? So, but in your case, if you got to go to a funeral for work,
Jeez,
there's
tough,
there's
man.
nothing to celebrate about.
Exactly.
I mean,
And you try to separate the profession.
you can't.
And
You
it's
can't.
hard. It was so
You can't.
hard. It was so hard.
You have no soul.
Yeah.
If you can separate it, it's because you have no soul.
And so I have to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, right? I have to I cannot get emotionally invested in these type of stories, right?
You're an emotional guy.
I am very. It was on my sleeve.
Everything. I'm surprised you're able to separate them.
I've been blessed with an ability to do that. It's tough though.
There you go. What are your special skills? No, the ones you can talk about.
Okay.
Women, are you taking notice? The phone number, we'll have it flash on the screen.
God.
What are your special gifts?
Man, discernment and my ability to forgive is unparalleled.
One of my sayings, and I love quoting myself, one of the great challenges is developing the skills that support your gift.
Mhm.
How do you develop the skill set that is supporting this natural gift?
I read a lot.
Do you meditate?
I have my version of meditation.
Is it through prayer?
Absolutely.
Um,
I read.
is it church or
I
one-on-one?
read scripture. One-on-one with God. I don't have a church home.
Right.
I read scripture. I have a daily, my daily devotional that I read as well. Got to stay tapped in. I had to write a piece earlier this year. It wasn't even early this year. It was last month. I had to write a piece just talking about how we need to slow down. And I had to slow down because sometimes, man, when we get in this rat race, we forget to slow down and start.
Do you belong to a church?
No, I don't. I don't have a church.
We had a bishop in here a little while ago from Harvest, Steve Help, one of my best buds.
Okay.
Congregation of 4,000.
Wow. I would get lost in a church that big.
Right. How do you feel special in a big room like that?
Right.
I pray to God all the time, but it's always one-on-one.
I will say this, Bob. I don't have a church home, but I'm actively looking for one, and I trust God on that, right? Like I really trust Him to lead my way.
Well, I'm sure if you find the right woman, she'll tell you the right church to go to.
Or I might go to the right church and find the right woman. You never know.
They say libraries and churches. Wait a second. When I was in college, I was going through a dry spell. And the bars weren't working.
No, library.
I went to the library.
Absolutely.
Cut a cripple out of the herd.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. There you go. But no, man, I'm very spiritual. Religion is what it is. It is what it is. It's organized. It's chaos. But when you talk about
there's only one. God created man.
Man
Man created
There
religions.
you go.
Religions are wrong. All of them are wrong. But there is a God.
There is a God. Absolutely. I believe that 100%. You mentioned my son who passed away at 16. He was murdered, right? The only way I was able to get through that and still stand.
I can't relate. I mean,
God.
how?
When he was, my son died at 16. When he was 12 and 13 years old, he used to steal cars and get into joy rides.
No.
High-speed police chases. I'm not lying to you.
Your mother brought this man into the world.
And my seed was a car thief.
Was a juvenile delinquent.
Exactly. On my watch.
How did that happen?
Okay.
How did that happen?
Okay.
You're too straight.
Okay.
You're too. You got too much foundation in you to have allowed that to happen on your watch.
You know what I learned, Bob, during that time?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand. I could not grab the concept. My son lived with me. He was running away. He was skipping school. He was stealing cars. These things I cannot relate to. I can't because I went to school.
That's not you.
No. And so what my buddy said to me, a real close friend that I trust his word and his judgment and his guidance, he said, "You guys are two separate people." Even though he was a child, he ain't me. He isn't me. I have you say. I'm like, never thought of it that way.
Right.
His adrenaline came from that.
Look, it's nature, nurture, choice, and luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was making bad choices.
Right. And again, I'm not pointing any
And-
fingers at anybody.
No, no.
You know what I
He
mean?
was making bad
Terrible choices, right?
Right.
And so
it wasn't in his nature. It certainly wasn't in his nurture.
Mm.
It was in his choices of friends. It was in
Mm.
choices of where he was going to spend his time.
Mm.
And it was bad luck.
Yeah. And so at 12 and 13, as he was getting in these high-speed police chases, there's a couple of things that can happen. A, you can wrap yourself around a light pole.
Right.
The police can shoot you.
You go to juvenile camp forever.
Oh, no. I'm talking about dire. Or the person whose car you getting into is going to shoot you, right? So with that, that's when I got on my knees and I asked God to prepare me. Well, that was going to happen to my son. Now, 3-4 years later, was I prepared for that?
You
No.
can't never.
No.
No.
I did not. That's the last thing I thought
Right.
would happen, right? But when it happened, that's when I felt that peace. Because when he was here, it was turmoil. And I'm a much better dad. My 6 surviving children have gotten a much, much better version of dad than my first boy ever did.
What makes a good father?
Being present, being in tuned, being compassionate, patient, loving.
You're missing a word.
What, discipline?
Consistent.
Consistent. Yes, sir. Absolutely. You got to show up, man. You have to show up consistently.
What?
And your
my boys-
words
yeah.
have to match your actions.
Right.
Yep.
I told my boys
Yep.
that my greatest challenge when they move out of the house and they come up to a situation they're not sure left, right, forward, backwards, they will hear my voice,
Yes.
that they will know
Yes.
exactly how I would counsel them
That consistent message, man.
because I've been consistent
Yep.
on it.
Yep.
They can choose to get in the car with a drunk driver.
Yep.
They can choose to not use a condom.
Yep.
They can choose all this stuff,
Yep.
but they'll hear my
Yep.
voice because it's
Yep.
been consistent.
And the way the world works now, my 15-year-old, I have a 15-year-old, and I'm giving him those lessons right there. Hey, any kid that you hang around that drinks, smoke pot, having sex with girls, stay away from them. They're not just stay away from them. This is why. Something that I did not get into. My mom and dad struggled with drugs in the 80s and 90s. So did my relatives. Addiction runs in our family. My son's mom, on her side of the family, alcoholism runs in the family.
So the addictive personality is something that you have to wrestle with every day.
Absolutely.
You're an addictive
Yeah.
person. You're addicted. Well, not coffee.
Oh,
You're
trust
addicted.
me.
You're addicted to the workout. You're addicted to the adrenaline.
Mhm.
You're addicted to the
Mhm.
confrontations.
Mhm.
You
All
you
of
like-
that.
you
All
like
of that. All of that.
You like the struggle.
That's why I don't.
You don't drink. That's
I
why
do
you
drink.
don't gamble.
No, I
you
don't gamble.
smoke.
I don't
You
gamble.
don't do drugs. You're pretty straight.
I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. Exactly. But I have
because
a
you
little
know you
bourbon.
have an addiction.
Exactly. I have a little bourbon.
Well, look, I have addiction to gambling and cigarettes,
Ah,
but I understand I have an addiction. I
It's
do,
tough.
I do.
it's tough.
But I try to stay away from new addictions.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There's no new ones coming, man.
Right.
And again, like I stay away from it, because I know me. And so I was trying to explain to my son. Also, I became a dad in 19, and his mom became a mother in 19. And brother, I'm telling you that you don't want to do
No.
that. So I'm just trying to teach him, not just stay away from this stuff, but this is why.
All right, I got to wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
This has been an absolute super.
We could do this forever.
I want to take you out for coffee sometime.
Absolutely.
Without the cameras and just keep going here.
Well, that sugar. Yeah, that
Next time with the sugar.
Okay.
Sugar for you, honey. So, is there anything you want to tell my audience of 17? We only got 17 people watching this.
Just I'm on any social channel that you're on at Toriano Porter. I have a website, torianoporter.com. My email address is tporter@kcstar.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about what I do or something that your elected official is doing, email me. I am a man of the people, and I'm here for the people.
If you got a complaint about government, send it to him.
And I'm on them. I show no favor.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank
I
you.
loved it.
This is-
Thanks very much. Till next time. Maybe Ann will be with us next time. Bye.